realized, looking back in life, I did not inherit fame or fortune from my family. What I inherited was more important. The belief that if you work hard and you play by the rules in America, you can do and be anything you want. That's the American dream, and we need to be the ones fighting for it.
Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker speaking at the Southern Republican Leadership Conference in Oklahoma earlier today. Walker, the first of many 2016 favorites set to speak at this conference. And of course, the governor's message was clear: to restore the American dream for all of our people. And during his speech, Scott Walker said we should not expect a presidential announcement from him till the end of June. Presidential politics, a perfect topic for our panel. Let's bring him in now. From just outside Las Vegas, Megan Barth, the founder of ReaganBaby.com, political commentator extraordinaire, quite fittingly on the right side of the screen. And smack dab in the middle, though he's the man of the left, Ben Wikler, Washington director of MoveOn.org and host of The Good Fight. So, Megan, since you're the Republican, well, along with me, let's talk about Scott Walker and his chances. What do you think about the conference and about Walker specifically?
Well, Walker has shown himself to be a fighter. You know, he fought against the unions, 3 or 4 times now in recall elections in a state where actually the unions were founded in Wisconsin. So we need someone tenacious like Walker that will take it to Hillary and really ask her the questions that she refuses to answer, which are aplenty as scandals keep dropping every day. So I'm excited about Walker. He has a Reagan-esque type of quality about him. He reaches out across a broad spectrum of people. And hey, to take that election in Wisconsin for the governorship is a huge feat and a defeat to organized labor.
Ben Wikler, since you're with Move On, I know you'd like Republicans to move on past Scott Walker, right? He really took it to the left in Wisconsin, as Megan mentioned.
Well, I'm from Wisconsin myself, and I can tell you that although Walker loves being compared to Reagan, he polls more like Voldemort. This is a guy that in Wisconsin, he's polling, I think, 56% disapproval in the state that he supposedly has so much support in. And that's because he's known there as the guy who took away your mom's pension. I have friends from high school who went into teaching. They became teachers, and now they're leaving public education because they don't have job security. They're losing their pensions and their future for the careers that they'd chosen in public service. This is a guy who's not good for
Ben, some of us would view that as the union was running things, but I appreciate your point of view on that. Let me go to another topic, and it's interesting. I will go to you first on this, Ben, even though it's about a Republican debate. Fox News hosts the first one, and they've announced that only the top 10 Republican candidates will be allowed based on the most recent polls leading up to that debate, a sampling of 5 polls. Does this have Fox News casting the front runners instead of allowing people in the debate? Ben, first to you.
You know, I think people in both parties would hope that top 10 lists would retire along with David Letterman. What we're seeing in the Republican Party right now is a combination of an incredibly fractured field with so many candidates running that you can't even squeeze them all on a stage without zooming the camera out so much you can't see their facial expressions. And at the same time, none of them has the stature to actually become president. It's kind of a Snow White and the 10 Dwarfs situation instead of a Prince Charming who can come in and actually win.
Oh, well, Ben, I appreciate the fact that you are less than charitable to the GOP field. Megan, a whole lot of people running, that's a sign of strength rather than fracturing, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, and when you look at the candidates on the Republican side, I mean, it looks like the UN. You know, we have an African-American pediatric surgeon. We have a woman, a businesswoman. We have a vast variety of candidates that want to throw their hat into the ring, unlike the left, who has Hillary. And she came out in a large black bus to tour Iowa, and no one knew who she was. The everyday American did not know who she was when she stepped into Chipotle. So if the DNC is going to put all of their money on Hillary, I'm happy to see that, because any one of the Republican contenders that have thrown their hat in the ring to date would be a definite challenge to Hillary and her silence and her scandals.
Before we let Ben comment on Hillary and what's going on the Democrat side, Megan, I just have to ask you, Fox trying to limit it to 10 candidates, is that a risk to the Republican Party?
You know, I think that everyone, especially in the initial debates, should have some time in front of the camera to see if there's really an underdog, right, that might appeal to a majority of the American people. And everyone should get a say in front of the camera.
Fair enough. We hear you.
I understand why they limit it to 10, but I'd like to see it.
I hear you. Now, 30 seconds to Ben. What's going to happen with Hillary? Is it fait accompli? I know you're not exactly satisfied with that, are you, Ben?
Look, I want Elizabeth Warren to run for president. I'm glad that there's definitely going to be a contested primary. There are 4 debates already scheduled, and I'm also glad that we'll have time to hear from each candidate because there are not so many of them crowding in for screen time that you can't find out where any of them stand. I think it's kind of a disaster for the Republican Party, and for a lot of Republicans, it does seem like it's going to be about as functional a primary as they think the United Nations is.
Oh,
typically.
Ben, I appreciate it, pal. To you and to Megan, our thanks, and we're coming right back.